What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Quinn Wade, basketball analysis, coming to you with a quick video. Make sure you check out my website, analysisplayground.com. It'll be in the comment section below. Also, the description there you can find NBA tributes, highlights, rookie analysis, summer league analysis, and NBA breakdowns. Also, hot topics and everything basketball. What's good, YouTube? I know I'm hitting y'all with a lot of videos, but I told y'all I was going to do a video every day, and I failed to do that, so I give y'all as much as possible. Make sure y'all eat as much. We're going to try to get back to doing the hot topics, but we got to finish the what to expect. Today, we're going to talk about the Indiana Pacers just because I think this is a championship roster. They won 45 games last year with only having Monte Ellis and Paul George. This year, they got Monte Ellis, Paul George. Miles Turner is going to come back better developed, more hungrier, more willing to dominate. Because remember, he didn't even start the whole season. Sometimes he came off the bench, then he got injured. But Miles Turner is hungry. He's ready. He played well in the playoffs. He got to keep improving his efficiency and keep improving his jump shot, and he will be deadly, especially if he can improve that three-point shot to 36%. They're going to be virtually unguardable because they added Thaddeus Young and Jeff T, who's a floor general. He knows when to attack. He knows when to shoot the jumper. He's a decent spot up three shooter, shooting over 36. And I think one time he shot 40%. Don't quote me on it. But he became a knockdown three-point shooter, which they do need at the point guard position and all across the floor. That's why I brought that up with Miles Turner, because they do need that spot up shooting to have the floor spacing open, so that way Paul George can operate, play some pick and roll, even dribble and drive and kick off to some shooters and get some wide open buckets. We know Al Jefferson can get some easy layups and some dunks. He's a one-on-one post player. He adds some depth to the roster because now if somebody get injured, they got a superstar or a star player to replace, which is Paul George. Needs more help. And after Les Stevenson and Roy Hibbert left, they basically try to rebuild on the fly. They missed the playoffs last year. They made it to the playoffs this year, won 45 games to do it. And now they got way more talent. They got a all-star caliber point guard in Jeff Teague. They have Monte Ellis, who's an all-star caliber player too, because he averaged 20 points a couple seasons. And he did it, I think, almost last year in Indy too. And he's a playmaker. Jeff T is a playmaker. Paul George became a better decision maker and the playmaker. Miles Turner has to turn on the offense switch and start dominating because he's so athletic and so mobile and has a dangerous jump shot that needs to keep improving, that he's going to be dominant too. And he has a decent post game, and that post fadeaway is disgusting. He destroyed people in summer league. He was destroying people in the playoff series. He was destroying people in the regular season with that post up fadeaway. It's disgusting how automatic it is. But that's one of his go-to moves. And I'm glad that he can create his own shot because that's important. Thaddeus Young is a huge key because he can play the power forward and he can come in and off the bench as a six-man, because sometimes they might want to have Miles Turner, sometimes they might want to have Al Jefferson, or they could run Paul George, Thaddeus Young, and Miles Turner having an athletic back front court of all people that can get steals and blocks and cover a lot of space, and they can switch everything too in the pick and roll because they all mobile and athletic and they can cover multiple positions. So with that being said, the Pacers are virtually hard to score on. That's why I wish they would have kept Frank Vogel, because him and his coaching staff are defensive geniuses, and they know how to put their players in the right position to be an impact. Nate McMillan is a good coach too, so I can't hate on that, and he's a hard, stern coach. So that's what Miles Turner needs, for somebody to be hard on him so he can continue to improve, because that guy has a huge amount of potential that needs to be fulfilled. But this roster has a lot of depth. It has a lot of scoring, has a lot of playmakers, have a lot of floor spacing. They got C.J. Miles for the three-point shooting, Paul George, Jeff Teague, Miles Turner can shoot them. Kevin Serapin is another good player off the bench. LaVoy Allen showed they can be a knockdown mid-range shooter. Aaron Brooks is a knockdown spot-up shooter. Al Jefferson can come off the bench and give you about 10, 12 points a game and like 6, 5 rebounds if you come off the bench. They also got Rodney Stuckey can come in and get some playmaking plays and some buckets off the bench. This team is very dangerous. This team should be on pace for like 55, 57 wins. I can actually see this team winning the East, because if J.R. Smith don't come back for the Cavaliers, they're going to miss a knockdown three-point shooter and a knockdown mid-range shooter and a person that played decent defense. I know Iman Shumpert probably better defensively, but he's nowhere near the scorer and consistent player as J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith declined a little bit in the playoffs, but he still shot 36% from three, which is what you want to shoot from the three-point line. You want to shoot 36 and above, and he still was able to do that in the finals against the best defensive team besides the Spurs. He still was effective. So with that being said, it's going to be hard to replace that in general. And LeBron is a player that needs shooters at all times because he like to dominate the ball and kick out a lot. So having less shooters is always bad for a LeBron team. But this team, I actually believe, is the best team in the East. I know I picked the Cavaliers just because they got 3 stars: Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron can go off from 30 every game. They can all average 20 points a game if they need be. Kyrie Irving can average 20 plus points. LeBron can average 20 plus points. It's just hard to guard them because they got so many creators and scorers and people that can score. And then Channing Frye is another person that can shoot too. And Kevin Love is a player that can go for 20 any game. You just don't know what he's going to do because they don't utilize him the right way. And he's basically like an X factor every game because you don't know what you're going to get out of him. But I actually think this Indiana team might be the best team in the East because of the depth, because of the versatility in the lineups they can play, because of the small ball lineups, because of the athleticism, because of the switching. I actually like this Indiana team, probably the best team in the East. I know I put them like number 2 or number 3. That's just because it has to be chemistry. They added a lot of new pieces. They got to learn how to play together. They got to learn their roles. They got to learn their rotations. They got to learn how to glue stuff together. They gotta know what lineups works the best. So right now, Cavaliers been playing with each other for 2 years, so they got that chemistry. Indiana added a lot of new pieces. They gotta see how it's gonna work out, and you don't ever know about the injuries. So with that being said, this Indiana team, the only question mark is their chemistry. Other than that, they got the roster, they got the talent, they got the playmaker, they got the scorer, they got the floor spacing, they got the athleticism. They got everything to win a championship besides Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. Even though Paul George and Kawhi Leonard is top 10 players, but Kevin Durant is a top 3 player. Kawhi Leonard to me is top 3 too. Paul George in that 7th place, 8th place, just because his efficiency is lower than Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard. Yes, he's a great defender. Yes, he's clutch, but he's shooting 41% from the field at 6'8", 6'9". That's unacceptable for a franchise player to shoot that low from the field. He definitely got to pick up that efficiency. He did it in the Toronto series shooting 45%, but he's going to have to do that the whole season because they need to have every possession value. And in order to do that, you got to be efficient with your playmaking, efficient with your scoring, and efficient with your three-point shooting. Efficiency is key to winning games because the more efficient you are, the harder it is to beat you because you're not making that many mistakes. The more mistakes, the more you help your team lose or put your team in bad situations. So you definitely want to be more efficient in general, and that's what Paul George got to work on the most, is upping his field goal percentage, lessening his turnovers, and improving his shot selection. Once he do that, he'll be a lock as a top 3, top 5 player guaranteed, but the efficiency is really killing him for putting him in that top upper echelon of players. So with that being said, we got to see what's going to happen with Indiana, but this team is definitely on paper the best team in the East, and they have great defensive players and great shooters. So I don't know why this team won't win 55 plus games, and that's about what the Cavs win. So if they can win just a couple more games, and Paul George showed that he can carry a franchise. Because remember, Indiana finished first in the East before, and I think they finished number 1 in the NBA in general. And Paul George has a whole lot more talent to help him out. He don't even have to play that many minutes no more because of the versatility of his roster. So with that being said, Paul George finished first in the East before, and I won't be surprised if he did it this year. This team is absolutely amazing. You got to give the credit to the coach, the organization, Larry Bird, and all of them for finding the coach and the players to fix this roster and to finish it. This is one of the best rosters in the NBA. And if they made it to the NBA Finals, I would not be surprised because of their versatility and their scorers and their playmakers and their ball handlers. This team is absolutely scary. But we're going to have to see when the season starts. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. Quinn Wade Basketball Niso, y'all favorite YouTuber, signing out.